Welcome, engineering students. Today we're going to start our second piece of design software, which is Solidworks. You'll find the icon in the middle of your screen. It should say Solidworks 2015. If you double click it, it'll start up. Every time the software starts, you get a little different graphic. This is what it looks like. Okay, one of the distinct advantages of Solidworks over SketchUp is that it's a parametric modeling piece of software, meaning that your model has parameters that you can adjust and change as opposed to having to redraw an object. So in SketchUp, if we drew a cube and then we put a hole in it and we made the hole 2 inches and then later found out that the client wanted it to be 1 inch, we'd have to go back and redraw the model in SketchUp. In Solidworks, we can just change the size of the hole by selecting the hole and the model will adjust itself. So the most important thing before you start a new project, which you go File, New, we have some options: part, assembly, drawing. Today we're going to focus on a part. We're going to draw a simple part. So we'll go part, okay. Is that you need to set your units. And where we do that is up here on the right. There's a little menu. Go to Options, Document Properties, and then down to Units. And as we kind of click on all these different tabs and menus, you'll notice there are many options and opportunities to make some mistakes. So it's important that you leave all these settings as I direct you to what they should be. And the first thing is definitely units. If your units are wrong, then your model's going to come out. So today we are going to work off of inches. So inches, pounds, seconds. We could do this metric. Larger units, work with meters, kilograms, centimeters, and on. And then you can make your own custom. We're going to stick with inches today. Select OK. So now we are on inches. All right. Like any piece of software, just like SketchUp, there are tools that are available to us. There are tabs, there are options. Left mouse click to select, right mouse to find your options. We're going to go with a sketch to start. Sketch. And when we select sketch, these are the options. Some of them are grayed out. We don't have anything on screen, so we can't use those. So we're going to go ahead and pick a line. And SketchUp allowed us to draw on planes based on our geometry. Solidworks actually selects the plane first that we're going to draw on, and then you can put in your geometry. So just like our isometric and orthographic drawings we did, we're going to be working from the front, right, and top planes associated with views of our model. So the front plane, we would draw the front view. Top plane, we draw the top view. Right plane, we draw the right view. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and sketch a rectangle. And these are all your options, different pieces of geometry you can draw. I'm going to work with the rectangle. And I'm going to put it on the front plane. And what that allows me to do is select the center and drag out. You can see the values changing as I draw it, or the dimensions. I'm just going to let it go here. Instead of trying to set this or adjust it to be a 4x4 square, which would take me forever, I'm just going to click it. And what I'm going to do is add some smart dimensions. Smart dimensions will allow me to adjust this in the future. So I'm going to add a smart dimension here. Select it, click once, and I'm going to change this to 4. check mark. So now that is 4 inches. I'm going to do the same on this side. 4, check mark, and there we go. Now we have a 4x4 square, and the center is this, our origin or the center of our model. Also, if you remember in SketchUp we had different colored lines. Same here, except our X, Y, and Z axis are labeled for us already. And you notice Z is blue, X is red, Y is green. Okay, so what I'm going to do, now that I have some geometry, I can add features to that geometry, or I can manipulate that geometry. So the way that I do that is I go to features. So let's hit our check mark, we're done. Features. And based on my model, there are only certain options available to me. These are grayed out, so we can't do any of this. So we're going to do extrude boss base. And that is like the push-pull in SketchUp. Drag it out, you can push it, you can pull it, you can go out the other side. Some of the options or values you can change. Blind is just allowing you to pull it wherever in this Z direction back and forth that you want. Up to a vertex, up to a surface, depending on what other pieces I'd have in here, I could change some of those up to midplane. All right, so we'll just leave it at blind. And we're going to change this value. Right now it's 6.24. We're going to actually give it, I'm going to set it to 4.5 for now. And I'm going to hit the green check. And now it's 4.5. Now we want to make a cube. Let me hit the check mark. And now we're out of it. So here is our object. We want to make it into a cube. And so what I'm going to do is hit this plus sign, just like open up file folders. You can see I worked from a sketch. That's where I started. And then I added a feature. So if I want to adjust this, if I want to adjust my sketch, I have to click on the sketch and edit sketch. And then I can make some changes. So I'll change this to, if I double click it, 6. Double click 6. Check mark. There it is. Click OK. I've adjusted my sketch, but I want to rebuild my model, so I have to go up here, this little plus minus, this green stop go. Click it once and it'll rebuild the model, and there it is. So I've adjusted my sketch. Now I want to go back and change my extrude, my feature that I added to it. Double click. Oops, sorry. Click. Edit feature. I'm going to change this to 6. And check. And now I have a 6x6. I can continue to add features. Now if you notice, now that I actually have a piece of geometry that's three-dimensional, my options have changed as far as what I can do with that model. So I'm going to add a hole. And I'm going to use extrude cut. Alright, just like I talked about at the beginning of the video. So, extrude cut. It says select a plane or surface. So I have to tell the software that I want to draw this hole on one of these surfaces, right? So I'm going to pick this surface. And I'm going to draw a circle. And start in the center, so I'm going to draw it out from the center. Just click it. And again, so I could actually change the value right now, make this a 1.7. Hit the check mark. I haven't done anything with this. It's still active. I'm still working on this sketch. And I can add a feature to it. Oops, I'm sorry. Did that wrong. Sketch. Extrude cut. And now that I add a piece of geometry, I can actually cut a hole. And as I drag it back and forth, I can go all the way through and out. I want to draw it to make a hole through the whole thing. So instead of being blind, now I'm going to go through all. check mark. And there's my hole. If I hold down the middle scroll, I can rotate it around, you can see the hole in my piece. If I go to the top, right here I can view it from my different standard views. Front, there's the hole. The right side, I can't see it. We know it's here, I made that hole, so what I'm going to do is change the way I'm looking at it. And there's my hole, hidden lines. Just like we did by hand, we created isometric from orthographic and orthographic from isometric drawings. I go back and change my to shaded, and I'm going to look at it, and symmetric. Here we go. And there's our part. Now, I talked about the parametric modeling having advantages, meaning that we could change the size of this hole now without having to redraw it. So if you think about it for a minute, how would we adjust this hole? We can go back to our feature. We adjust our sketch, edit the sketch, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another smart dimension to my sketch. And it's at 3.4. I want this hole to be at 3. Check mark. It's at 3. We're good. Rebuild. And you'll notice that the hole continues through. It's still cut. I just changed the diameter, so I didn't have to redraw anything. I just have to change things now, right? If I open these up, I could change my extrude cut. Instead of through all, change it to blind. Instead of going through the part all the way, I change this to go 3 inches deep. Check mark, and here we go. There's my hole adjusted. If the client calls up and says, I want that hole to be 1 inch, I just go back to my sketch, edit my sketch, double click, edit my sketch. Okay, like I was saying, you can edit the sketch. The issue I had was I was clicking on the dimension and not on the value. Make sure you click on the value, change this, and we're going to go with a 1 inch diameter. Click OK, there it is. And now I've changed it. Alright, very good. So what I want you to do now is to go ahead and create a 2 by 2 cube and put a 1/2 inch hole that is 3/4 of an inch deep into the cube. All right, thanks.